must be on this house.
Well, what's done is done.
What do we do? What do we tell the monster?
How do we cover up another bloody disaster?
Cowboy just looked on, then looked towards Henry's room, and then back down. Lynette is wringing her hands.
Well, there's just one solution. We contact Scotland Yard.
Mrs. Cook then.
Can we pick up the cannon?
Do you remember the last one? They caused such upset.
How can anyone forget? I still can't understand. Why that poor girl fighting? She was faint-hearted.
Perhaps our final course is hard.
So,
I'll look up at Cowboy questioning and take it.
Occurs beyond this house.
Well, what's done is done.
And we cover up another bloody disaster. What was the killer after?
Well, there's just one solution. We'll contact Scotland Yard.
Our goose is cooked, then cook up the canard. Do you remember last time they caused such upset? She was faint apart.
I'll look at Cowboy questioningly. He cashed out Esmeralda's room a few short months ago. Change in lighting shows change in time. Esmeralda wears a death mask. Young Master Henry sneaks into Esmeralda's room. He places the basket of roses from the garden with a huge bloody rat as it descends with on her pillow. He covers it with a blanket. Esmeralda is getting ready for bed. She washes her face and hands over a wooden wash bucket. Esmeralda enters her room, walks over to her bed, pulls her blanket back and sees the roses. She leans forward to sniff the bouquet. She catches a sight of the naked rat.
who could have?
Esmeralda faints away from a heart attack. She falls. She latches onto a lace doily. The large ceramic bowl onto Willie falls off the nightstand it was on, hits her on the forehead and shatters. Even if the heart attack didn't kill her, the bowl did. Henry comes back into the room. He removes the basket and places one of the roses in the mud vase that was on the same nightstand the ceramic bowl occupied earlier. He sneaks out, and the monstrous giggle of his alter ego, Edward Hyde, is heard.
Not likely, dear.
This is the third time something this has happened.
I'll turn towards the guard.
Since all of you are going to tell me from here that this is the first incident, you want us to go. You were placed to me, Jesse.
What happened?
We had finished Christmas goose, so we did stuff and over bed. When suddenly with all the work, Mr. Robbins just fell over dead. In the middle of the gramophone, of his favorite pumpkin pie, there was no rhyme or reason, 'cause it was much too young to die. Much too young to die, just like Memphis Nightingale. Much too young to end a life. It's not playing good up here. What are we to do? I'm sure this house is next. I'm not sure I want to hang around to find out which one of us is next. So we try to find an answer, unearth some kind of clue. But even Scotland Yard had a narrow point of view. The only thing we knew for sure is someone must have known that Mr. Hyde was the only one who he put
not sure I want to hang around to find out which one of us is next.
I wish I could leave the place, it would only cause suspicion. Let's find them yard will keep us here. Each one of us is a suspect, if you know what I mean. So we better stick together, you know the whole routine.
We're much too young to die, so we better watch our backs. The killer could be in this room, so nobody can relax. Better cover all our tracks, be ready for attacks. So we're much too young to die.
Okay, so
I believe the Jengles are due back. Oh my, today.
Oh, who's going to break the bloody news?
It's not my job.
Cowboy, who has remained silent, just shakes his head and exits.
I suppose Big Henry also while they're gone.
Which seems most all the time.
Yes, well, it's my job, and I will take care of it. Meantime, Jasper, please send one of the stable boys to dig up that nice inspector at the yard. Oh, what was his name?
Monsieur Arnaud. I'll send him straight away. I'll list one of them grooms.
What about the body, love?
Do you have a proposal? I don't think that we can touch it.
I'm at your disposal.
We can't be too careful. It's evidence after all.
What about the boy, love?
Yes, he's awfully small. To see something so horrid, it's unthinkable, I'm sure.
Very good point. Would be too much to endure.
He's due for a writing lesson at 10 o'clock.
It's almost that now.
Jasper grabs a tablecloth from the dining room table and shakes it out so that it balloons up, and he gently lays it flat over Danvers' body.
This should stop the shock. Poof! Danvers has disappeared.
Hildegard smiles radiantly at Jasper.
You are a clever one.
Now, what's left to do?
You must tell Henry.
Oh, I think that's up to you.
Must we tell him the truth?
Well, he followed Danvers all about. Henry would be so upset there isn't any doubt.
Yes, leaving with no goodbye and no explanation.
Do we say the bloke just broke his neck?
How do we create a fabrication?
No, it must be the truth. He can handle it. You'll see, he's rather resilient.
Then you handle it, dearie.
What about the body, love? Do you have a proposal? I don't think that we can touch it.
I'm at your disposal.
We can't be too careful, it's evidence after all. What about the boy, love? Yes, he is awfully small. To see something so horrid, it's unthinkable, I'm sure.
Very good point. Would be too much to endure.
He's due for a writing lesson at 10 o'clock. It's always that now.
This should stop the shock. Poof! Danvers has disappeared.
You are a clever one, now what's left to do? We must tell Henry. I think that's up to you. Must we tell him the truth? Will you not understand there's all about? Henry would be scared that there isn't any doubt. Yes, leaving with no goodbye and no explanation.
Do we say the bloke just broke his neck?
Or do we create a fabrication? No, it must be the truth. He can handle it, you see. He is rather resilient. And you and dearie.
Henry is just waking up and looks totally rested. Birds are chirping outside the window. The door opens. Nanette enters, tiptoes over, and sits on the edge of his bed.
Master Henry, are you fully awake? I've got some disastrous news.
What has happened, Auntie Nanette?
Yes, well, there's no way to soften the blow. Danvers is dead.
No!
Yes.
Henry bursts into tears and reaches out to Nanette. She moves close to him. He throws his head against her ample bosom.
Shh, sweet boy, it will be all right.
Annette rubs her hands over his curls and rocks him back and forth to comfort him.
Poor little lad, your eyes have seen way too much, and no one seems to stay around to lend you a tender touch, just like an orphan child left to fend for yourself alone, surrounded by the hired help almost always on your own. If only I could change it, find a way to rearrange it. If only you were really mine, the life we'd share could be so fine. I would shower you with affection, have that mother-son connection. It would be a sweet confection, if only you were mine.
Oh, how I wish all the things you said were true, that I really could trust it, wish I could believe in you. But promise after promise has been broken in my heart. I can't take another chance, my world will fall apart. I wish I could pretend that on you I could depend. If only you were really mine, the life we'd share could be so fun. I would shower you with affection, have that mother-son connection. It would be a sweet confection, if only you were mine.
There's so much I'd like to show you.
I wish I could get to know you,
I wish I could take you.
but I know I could forsake you.
I wish that I can change it.
I wish I could pretend.
Find a way to rearrange it.
Could you really be a friend?
If only you were really mine.
Life could be so very fun.
I could shower you with affection.
Have that mother-son connection. It would be a sweet confection.
If only,
If only.
if only you were mine.
Little lad, your eyes have seen way too much, and no one seems to stay around to lend you a tender touch. Just like an orphan child left to fend for yourself alone, surrounded by the hired help, almost always on your own. If only I could change it, find a way to rearrange it. If only you were really mine, the life we'd share could be so fine. I'd shower you with affection, have that mother-son connection. It would be a sweet perfection. If only you were mine. Oh, how I wish all the things you said were true, that I could really trust it. Wish I could believe in you. The promise after promise has been broken in my heart. I can't take another chance, my world would fall apart. I wish I could pretend that on you I could depend. If only you were really mine, the life we'd share could be so fine. I'd shower you with affection, have that mother-son connection. Be a sweet confection. If only you were mine. So much I'd like to show you. I wish I could get to know you. I wish that I could take you, but I know I could forsake you. I wish that I could change it. I wish I could pretend, find a way to rearrange it. Could you really be my friend? If only you were really mine, life could be so very fun. I'd shower you with affection, have that mother-son connection.
lights up on the main vestibule off the main dining room. The body still lies covered. The door opens. Malcolm and Marion Jekyll enter carrying big packages.
Hildegard, we've arrived!
Danvers, come fetch our luggage.
No one comes yet.
Lights up.
It's
Are we reading? Well,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
okay.
indicated here. Okay.
Okay.
You better go, Miss Hildy. Go.
Yes, let me gather myself together.
Jasper straightens himself up and puts Danvers' old butler uniform on his back.
Perfect fit. Time for the show.
Malcolm.
Do you want to say something? Danvers, come fetch our luggage.
Wonder where they are.
It's all rather odd, dear.
I hope they haven't gone too far.
Oh, it's Mr. and Mrs. Jekyll.
I summoned you twice.
Did you hear them, Jasper?
Nah. Must have been quiet as mice.
Fact is, we were rather boisterous.
Obnoxious, I dare say.
Paris is breathtaking this time of year.
It becomes apparent that both are slightly cockeyed and it's only 10 o'clock in the morning.
We had a glorious holiday.
Danvers, come fetch our luggage. Where is that old chap hiding anyhow?
Could be eternally unavailable, sir.
Nonsense. He'd better fetch our luggage now.
Sorry, he's not quick enough for that for this row.
Malcolm becomes aware that something is afoot by the rather cool attitude of his help.
Okay, let's, we'll play the song now so you can hear.
Danvers, come fetch your luggage.
You better get me filthy gal. Yes, let me get myself together.
Perfect fit, time for the show.
Danvers, come fetch your luggage.
I wonder where they are.
It's all rather odd, dear.
I hope they haven't gone too far. Now it's Mr. and Mrs. Jekyll.
I summoned you twice.
Did you hear them, Jasper?
Yeah, must have been quiet as mice.
And if we were rather boisterous.
Obnoxious, I dare say.
Paris is breathtaking this time of year.
We had a glorious holiday. Danvers, come fetch your luggage. Where's that old chap hiding anyhow?
Could be eternally unavailable, sir.
Nonsense, he'd better fetch our luggage now. Sorry, he's not quick enough for this route.
What is this nonsense, Jasper? I hired you to replace Bottoms, the groundskeeper. Why on earth are you wearing Danvers' uniform?
Well, today I'm replacing Danvers, sir.
Jasper walks over to the tablecloth and pulls it off, revealing dead Danvers.
Sorry to be so blunt, sir.
What is the meaning of all this, Hildegard?
One picture's worth 1,000 words, sir, don't you think?
Go on.
You see, sir, there seems to have been a terrible accident.
Fatal fall, I believe, sir.
The Jekylls both appear to sober up fast.
Oh, not another one.
Marion kneels to keel over. Malcolm steadies her.
Come on, dear, not now.
Marion straightens herself up.
How did this happen?
No idea, sir. We just found him this way early this morning.
You mean you didn't hear anything or see anything suspicious?
Yes, sir, I did hear something. It was as I was getting up when I heard a loud, blood-curdling scream. Well, I immediately ran in the direction of it and practically stumbled over the body. Naturally, I yelled for assistance, and all the rest of the staff, even that strange American stable hand, joined me here.
Has the yard been contacted yet?
I sent one of the grooms.
Doorbell chimes.
expeditious, aren't they?
Jasper walks over and opens the front door. Enters Monsieur Arnaud. He's strikingly handsome. He tips his hat towards Hildegard and Marion. Both ogle at him openly. Monsieur Arnaud speaks with a French accent mixed with a touch of an English accent.
So, we meet again.
There is a dead silence as both women challenge each other. Jasper breaks it up as he steps between them.
It was I who sent for you, sir.
You people seem to be helping me earn my salary. So, what happens this time? This is the third, no, fourth incident counting that Daphne business, isn't it?
So, wouldn't you care for the spot of tea before we get into it? I can fill you in all the gory details over a crop minute or two.
I suppose I could indulge myself a little. Is that all right with you, Mr. Jekyll?
Be my guest.
Follow me.
I think I know the way by now.
They exit.
Shall I attend to the bags now, sir?
Fine, Jasper. Help yourself.
Jasper walks out the door. The Jekylls retire to the sitting room.
I think I'll just play this one through, okay? Then we'll go to the next one.
That the eyes can see. I won't say the word, no. You'll never hear it from me. We'll see it through together, no matter what we have to face. As long as we keep each other safe and sound. Left another trace.
Oh, I'm so scared. How would we ever do this without raising some eyebrows?
I know playing amateur sleuth can be somewhat risky, but it must be done.
We won't say the word. It will never cross our lips.
Say the word would make it grieve.
We'll wait till someone slips. There's got to be an explanation.
Right you are.
That our eyes can't see.
We won't say the word.
Protect our family.
Storms into the sitting area where Marion and Malcolm are conferring intimately. His timing is perfect.
Madam,
I say it was most definitely murder. I am sure of it. It's got a mark of a serial killer. The pattern is unmasking itself, and I intend to unearth the monster before it strikes again.
Marion and Malcolm pretend to be totally surprised. They are gazing wide-eyed at each other and at Arnaud. Before anyone has a chance to utter one more word, Henry comes in, barging into the room. He's dressed in his jokers, equipped with riding crop and cap. He runs past the inspector and corners his parents. Nanette trails close behind.
Mother! Father! You're home!
Henry kisses each of his parents' cheeks in a rather cool, conservative way. Marion reaches out and holds Henry's shoulders at arm's length, then bends forward to kiss his cheek. She's noticeably upset by Arnaud and Henry's surprise entrance.
Henry, we've missed you so.
Malcolm steps forward too and shakes Henry's small hand.
So, little man, wait till you see all the things we've bought you.
Henry ignores them at this point and walks over to Monsieur Arnaud.
Did I hear you say murder, monsieur?
Arnaud backs away slightly. He looks towards the jackals for assistance. He clears his throat, waiting. He clears it again. Finally, after the third time of throat clearing, Malcolm gets the message.
Listen, Henry, why don't you go and fetch Mrs. Muffin for us and ask her to fix your mum and I some breakfast? That's a good lad, yes?
But, Father, what's the inspector doing here again? I thought all that awful stuff was over with.
Now, Henry, disobey me too, so I can say
Please, Father, this is so upsetting. Tell me what's going on. I'm frightened.
Go.
Henry slowly exits from the room. He appears to be very forlorn and very small, which he is. Instead of going to do as his father bid him, he runs out the back door. Lights up on the road leading to the barn. Henry walks down the road a distant way and disappears inside the barn. Cowboy, who's saddling a horse, sees Henry but just continues his chore. Lights up on sitting room. Ms. Muffin, Hildegard, and Jasper have also now joined the jackals, Inspector Arnaud, and Hildegard, since the meeting involves the entire adult household. All watch Arnaud as he paces the floor, whispering inaudible things to himself and waving his arms around. Suddenly, he stops and faces the whole lot of them.
Okay, so I think I'll just play this song through because there's so many different parts and we really get the feel. Okay.
Listen to me clearly, this isn't any game. Murder is the key word here and someone is to blame.
Oh, it could be, it's clearly a mistake. Murder in a jackal hole is more than I can take. Maybe Otto's right, I believe it's true. 3 accidents, suicide, I say there's got to be some fun.
You think you can avoid me? No, not one little bit. You can't keep Edward Hyde away, you thumb-sucking little twit. It's murder, he says. He doesn't know the half of it. It's murder, he says. He thinks I won't get away with it. It's murder, he says. Oh, he thinks he's smart. He really breaks my heart. It's gonna be such fun to watch them on the run, suspecting one another. My little brother, friend against friend, friend turned into foe, and at the very end, only you and I will know. It's murder, he says. Catch a killer by his toe.
Oh, please stop it. I can't take this anymore. I can't live with the things you do. What is all this killing for?
Don't play dumb with me. Your injustice deep. You're the one who drinks the drink, then you pretend to go to sleep. But I know you're thinking when I do each dirty deed. Watch them as they all fall down. You're the other half of this bad seed.
It's murder, he says. He doesn't know the half of it. It's murder, he says. Don't let him get away with it. It's murder, he says. I pray there are no stars. I pray with all my heart. This isn't really fun.
Why, it's only just begun. Suspecting one another.
Oh, it's such an evil brother.
Friend against friend.
How far will you go?
When it's all over, I suspect that you'll know.
It's murder, he says.
It's murder. Something's not right in this hellish place. That boy's all wrong. It's written on his face. On the surface, he's angelic, but something's brewing deep inside. And he knows that I know. How long can he hide? It's murder, I say. This time I'm feeling sure. It's murder, I say, and he'll never get away with it.
It's murder, he says. And you think you're smart. You rip the gentle arms apart. You pick the slots one by one until the bloody job is done.
To keep us under lock and key. That's how business done.
Friend against friend. Friend
Turned into foe. And in the end, all of us will know. It's murder, I say. It's murder, he says.
It's murder, he says.
It's murder, he says.
It's murder.
All right, I'm gonna I think we should just start reading the lyrics through. Does that make sense to everybody? You know, because I think it slows things down playing the music. So, there's only a couple of songs that I'll play, but let's start reading, because I think it's for the continuity. Yeah? And I think, yeah. Okay. All right, so, and we're not going to be reading the lights up, lights down, just the action, okay? Just so everybody knows, so, okay.
Okay, it's late afternoon around dusk. The sky is beginning to have that rosy golden blush before the sun begins to set. Henry is alone, sitting on his bed. He's looking at a book and rocking back and forth. There's no trace of Hyde. He is truly alone now.
I wish I had someone to play with. I'm so tired of books. Books and more books. Pages and pages of words. Other people's words. Other people talking. Making friends.
Henry throws the book down and gets off his bed. He begins to pace around the room. He looks out the window, then faces back in.
Why can't I be like the other boys? Who play with all those silly toys? Wooden soldiers, a hunting gun, a whirling, twirling top. Would be such fun. Building blocks to touch the sky, jumping rope, I pretend to fly. Running, skipping, go to school, wearing bathing trunks, float in a pool. But as each day passes, one by one, they're all the same. Then the day is done. The sun sinks down, I go to sleep, I say my prayers, my soul to keep, I say my prayers. Oh, please, God, make me an ordinary boy, so when I awake, I'll feel some joy. I'll open my door, and what'll I see? All my mates are here to play with me. Why can't I be like the other lads, with gentle mums and loving dads? Go to Hyde Park, own a dog, wade in a pond like a pillow log. Have a picnic Sunday afternoons, and nightfall sing campfire tunes. Then carry me, Mama, up to my bed, and read me stories and kiss my head. But as each night passes, one by one, the dreams I have hide with the sun. Under my quilt I disappear, I say my prayers, I'm out of tears, I say my prayers. Oh, please, God, make me an ordinary boy, so when I awake, I'll feel some joy. I'll go downstairs, and what do I see? My parents are home, and they love me.
Henry walks over to the window again. This time he catches sight of two people walking together in the garden. He sees that it's Nanette and Monsieur Arnaud. They are holding hands and hiding behind some hedges, obviously involved in some secret meeting. Henry turns away, and we see Hyde in his eyes, full of rage. Hyde is getting strong enough to break through Henry's good facade at will. Lights go up in Nanette and Arnaud in the garden. Nanette looks deeply into Arnaud's eyes.
I never thought you'd be coming back, Stefan. We can't keep meeting like this.
It's murder, my love. It's murder to get away.
He kisses the tip of Nanette's nose.
Really, listen to me. It's all too risky. And besides, do I have to wait till someone else kicks the bucket to see you again?
Better watch it, love. That could give you a perfect motive to be the killer yourself.
Really, Stefan, when will you tell me?
Soon. I promise.
What can I do? I've been waiting all my life to meet someone just like you. Why do you have to have a wife? I wish I could stop it now, hush all my love inside my heart, just be on my merry way. I know that would be so smart.
If only I could change it, find a way to rearrange it.
If only you were really mine, the life we share could be so fine. I would shower you with affection, have the husband-wife connection. It would be a sweet confection if only you were mine.
How will I do it? I've got to see this through. Some detective I must be, I haven't got a clue. In order to be with you, I'd have to break each and every vow. I'd have to break Sarah's heart. Can you tell me how?
I wish I could pretend that on you I can depend.
If only you were really mine, the life we'd share could be so fine. I would shower you with affection, have that husband-wife connection. It would be a sweet confection if only you were mine.
So much I want to hold you.
I would enfold you.
I need to have you near me.
Forever, never leave me.
I wish that you can change it.
Find a way to rearrange it.
How can we pretend?
That we're not much more than friends.
If only you were really mine.
Life could be so very
I
fine.
would shower you with affection.
Have that husband-wife connection. It would be a sweet confection.
If only.
If only you were mine.
Lights up on the kitchen. Hildegard, Jasper, and Ms. Muffin are comparing notes over tea.
We really have to get to the bottom of this.
Oh. And we'd better shake a leg.
Well, I say we examine all the possibilities. Who are the most likely suspects?
That's quite logical, Jasper.
Splendid idea.
It has to be someone who knows his house inside and out. Every nook and cranny of that there is no doubt, because nobody's ever seen hide nor hair of him.
Or her.
What kind of monstrous mastermind is creating such a stir?
Could it be? Oh, yes, it could. My instincts are so very good. It's obvious, all so obvious, like the nose upon your face.
Points to Hildegard.
She's falling far from grace in her lavender and lace.
I have come to this conclusion. This mistress of illusion is none other than Nanette, and I painfully regret.
Before she throws him off her trail, we ought to cart her off to jail.
I beg to differ, dearies. She's pure as a virgin spring. Look how she handles Henry. She's such a gentle thing. But I've got my own suspicions. I watch every move he makes with his 2-gallon hat and fancy boots made from the skin of snakes. Could it be? Oh, yes, it could. My instincts are so very good. It's obvious, all so obvious. It's no mystery to me that cowpoke gives me goosebumps. I say he's got the recipe. It's a fool's brew, can't you see? So cool, calm, collected. He's got you misdirected. It's none other than the cowboy. He's been playing with us like toys. Before he hangs us with his lasso, we ought to ship him back to El Paso.
So you think that you're a sleuth? Well, do you have one shred of proof? Just should be based on truth. There's got to be a motive to drive one to the brink. Come on, lovies, think. What does the Princess Ned want? Or the cowboy, for that matter? Do you think that he would want is evil enough to make bones break and red blood splatter? It's obvious, also obvious, you're barking up the wrong trees. You haven't got any evidence to solve these mysteries. Let's get back to basics, please. We can't be true detectives if our methods are defective. We must examine every fact, so we must make a pact to unearth this creature in time before it commits another crime.
It's obvious. Also obvious that without a bloody clue, the next victim could be me, the next victim could be you. It's obvious.
Lights up on the backyard. It's late afternoon and time for high tea. Malcolm and Marion are lying on shade lounges. Marion is writing down some notes and they are comparing ideas with each other.
I'd say some would kill for love.
Most things hinge on money.
No crimes of passion.
Ever the romantic, aren't you, honey?
Well, you can't always make money, or pilfer it, if you will. But it's difficult to make love. That is, of course, unless the person you make it to is willing to. Yes, they must be a willing subject. Willing, and if they're not, that's rape. Or pilfering love, if you will.
I will not. That's all so much rot.
But you can't actually pilfer love. No, not really. Because you can't take it, not without someone knowing. Of course, you can kill someone for not giving it to you freely. Couldn't you? Couldn't you?
Oh, really? Marion, this is not getting us anywhere. Your logic escapes me.
Oh dear, you're such a stuffed shirt sometimes.
Suddenly, a loud noise coming from behind some hedges that surround the Jekyll's home. We become aware of some new sounds that were not there before.
What the dickens is that?
Malcolm, go take a look. That racket is giving me an enormous headache.
Malcolm gets up lazily and walks over to the hedges.
Hello, I say. What's all the fuss about?
Hello up there, I'm Veronica.
I don't need to shout.
We're your new neighbors, the Tarnos.
A dainty, white-gloved hand shoots through the hedges in an attempt to shake hands with whomever Veronica is talking to. Malcolm walks over, caresses the hand, bends over, and kisses it.
Charmed. I'm certainly sure.
Malcolm, dear, how could you?
Tis darling. You're so insecure. It was just a little peck, barely even a nibble.
Veronica removes her hand and disappears.
Besides, she's probably the homely type.
I guess there's no need for us to quibble.
Veronica enters with Jasper. She is a spectacular-looking woman with a beautiful little daughter, Heather. Marion is too stunned by the breathtaking woman to utter another word, and her laughter dies in a heartbeat. Malcolm lights up like a Christmas tree.
No time like the present to become acquainted with you. I, of course, am Veronica.
And who is this lovely ingenue?
Oh, this is my precious one. Heather, say hello. I'm sorry, what are your names?
I'm Malcolm Jekyll, and this is my wife.
Marion.
Marion jabs Malcolm in the ribcage.
I'm so glad you came.
I'm ever so pleased to meet you.
And how old are you, Heather, my dear?
I'll be 8 next month, Mrs. Jekyll.
Marion.
Ah, what an innocent year.
Oh, what a delightful child you are. Say, I've got a smashing idea. Let's you and I go raid the pantry. It's getting so stuffy around here. I suspect we'll uncover some sweets, crumpets and scones and such. And Mr. Jekyll, Malcolm can amuse your mother.
I'd like that ever so much.
Yes, I have the Midas touch.
Heather appears to be totally bewildered by the rather provocative behavior of the adults.
We'll be back in 2 shakes.
Mary and Heather exit. Malcolm starts to say something but stops himself. Instead, he walks over to Veronica and leads her by the arm to the shade lounge.
So, what can I get for you?
Lights up on Henry's bedroom. Henry has obviously been watching the whole scheme unfold in the yard. He is at the window. Henry pounds his hand on the windowsill. He then begins walking in a circle around the room, pulling his hair in a rhythmic fashion. Lights up on Marion.
Henry! Henry, come downstairs! I've got a surprise for you!
Be right down, Mummy.
Lights up on the bottom stairs. Marion and Heather look up as Henry races down the stairs. He gets to the bottom step and freezes. Heather could have been a creature from another planet, according to Henry.
Well, say hello, Henry. This is Heather, our new neighbor.
Hello, Heather.
Oh, hello, Henry.
They stand face to face, staring at each other. Neither is quite sure what to make of the other.
Look at her, just look at her. A perfect little queen. Bright red hair beyond compare with eyes of azure green.
Look at him, just look at him, a perfect little king. Pretty curls just like girls, with bright eyes that dance and sing.
Look at her, just look at her, the way she looks at me. Could it be? Yes, it could, that she likes what she sees?
Look at him, just look at him, the way he looks at me. Could it be? Yes, it could, that he likes what he sees.
Could it be? Yes, it could, that we have something we can share. Is there something deep inside our hearts? We both know. Oh, do we dare? Do we dare to touch each other? Dare to take a chance? I've been hurt so many times.
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 Do we dare take a chance? Look at her.
Look at him.
Just look.
Henry suddenly decides to break the spell they're under. He grabs Heather's arm with a movement that's more aggressive, much like that of Hyde's.
Do you like horses, Heather?
Well, only to look at. I've never ridden one before.
I'd like to show you my horse. May I, Mummy?
Marion is standing by the window that overlooks the backyard. She's been intently spying on Malcolm's every move. Lights up on the backyard. Malcolm is laying on the charm. Malcolm and Veronica are laughing explosively. Lights up on Marion in the window. She is seething.
Mother, I was asking you if I can show Heather Daphne.
Daphne, what a strange name for a horse.
Oh, yes.
Here we go again.
Go again? Where?
Oh, you should have been around when Daphne started here. There were fireworks in the air. Mr. Malcolm devoured her with his eyes.
Bet that's not all he devoured her with. It comes as no surprise.
His kind is just no good. Can't keep his hands to himself. Thought that he'd make a play for the net, too.
But Arnaud, won't you share the wealth?
Right you are, Jasper, but I think the missus had a motive to snuff Daphne out herself.
With this situation so explosive, and what of Esmeralda? Maybe her too.
But it wouldn't quite cut it in the Bottoms case and Danvers.
We need some kind of clue.
Something new.
You're right there.
It's long overdue.
No, it can't be the mistress. It just doesn't play. When tragedy struck this house, she'd always been on holiday.
Another good point. I guess we need a new angle.
Miss Muffin enters carrying a rolling pin.
Oh, well, you two at it again.
No, Mr. Malcolm is.
Good heavens. No, that's just what we need around this place. There's too many cooks in our kitchen. Malcolm's such a disgrace.
Can't wait to see the outcome first time we've had neighbors here. The Olsen place has been vacant.
Why is that, dear?
There was some real unpleasant business there. At one time, I hear tell.
You don't say. Then tell us.
Well?
It's not too different from what's going on over there. But in that scenario, the husband shot the wife and himself. What a sorry lot.
Could be the same old plot.
Oh, for all our sakes, I hope it's not. Oh, Mother of God, what to do now?
Lights up in stables, Henry leads Daphne the horse out of her stall.
How did she ever get her name, Henry?
Oh, I named you after someone I once knew.
Another girl?
It was nothing like that.
Henry turns away from Heather. Lately he has no control over Hyde, who now constantly comes and goes. Hyde, however, is clever enough not to let anyone else see him when he appears. He forces Henry's hand in subtle ways. Presently, Hyde is flitting in and out as Henry plays with Heather. Suddenly, Hyde pushes Heather over a bale of hay.
Besides, it's none of your business.
What did you do that for?
What for?
You pushed me over, Henry.
To cover for Hyde, Henry immediately laughs and jumps onto the bale of hay. He begins picking up loose pieces and throws them over Heather's head, turning being in the hay into a child's game. Heather forgets the nasty behavior and joins right in. She throws hay over Henry's head too. They both lay back, kick up their feet, and throw more hay on each other. Daphne just leans over and takes this as her chance to chow down on the stray pieces of hay that land on her hooves. Lights up on Cowboy nearby the stables. Cowboy is chopping firewood and has been watching Henry/Hyde. He looks troubled as he is beginning to pull all the pieces together. Cowboy has actually seen Henry's transformation into Hyde. As Cowboy chops the wood, he is clearly agitated by the information he has now. The cowboy sings. The song Cowboy sings includes the chopping sound of the wood in time to the motion of the swinging arms.
What can this be? It's all so bizarre. This monstrous aberration is the worst I've seen by far. I thought I could escape them, put an end to this nightmare. Though I'd seen the last of them, somehow it doesn't seem quite fair. I've climbed high mountains, crossed oceans of pain. I've never thought I'd see the likes of one of them again. But this isn't any dream, no eerie fantasy. The child is a defiled child, and it is my responsibility to expose this monstrous creature, exorcise this house of death, fight until the finish, till I've taken my last breath. But I can't reveal my real identity. I'm the doctor of delusion. Who can't face reality? I've seen way too much. My profession on the skids, a fallen alienist, whose speciality was kids. I've shut down my office, ripped out the pages of my books, to wipe out all the memories of small murderers and crooks. But this isn't any dream, it's as clear as day. I'm the only one who sees the truth. What a handle to have to play. The beast is standing at my doorstep. He's trying to get inside my house. It's too late to run away or stop this game of cat and mouse. I must protect the others. I must anticipate the next move of this devil in children's clothes before it's much too late, because this isn't any dream. Their lives depend on me. I must set a trap to get him under lock and key. I must expose the monstrous creature, exorcise this house of death, fight until the finish, till I've taken my last breath.
So you want to take a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's take a break.
Okay. 5-minute break. Are we shooting? Okay, great.
Malcolm and Veronica are seated closely, practically ignoring Marion, who's seated across from them. Marion's face is very pinched.
My husband is a very prominent minister in London town. In fact, he's staying at this club tonight.
Doesn't that leave you feeling down?
Must be a very busy man to leave such beautiful maidens unattended.
Oh, but he must make sure that all those nasty villains are apprehended.
Quite so.
I know.
I wonder where the children are.
They're coming now.
Speaking of the devil, my word, how did they get so disheveled?
Heather, giggling and extremely lighthearted, runs past Henry and throws herself into Veronica's arms.
Oh, Mommy, it's wonderful here. Can't we stay a little longer?
Oh, we may have worn out our welcome, Angel dear. Perhaps we can invite the Jekylls to our house for a sort of housewarming.
Veronica beams at Malcolm and he beams back. Their unspoken language is read loud and clear by Marion, as she has seen it many times before.
Can we have them over soon? Can we?
Your invitation's quite
Will you ever stop performing?
What do you say to Saturday?
Veronica looks at Malcolm, then Marion for confirmation.
That would be lovely.
enchanting.
It's a date then. I'll tell Horace.
Will you ever stop panting?
And we'll keep it casual. Nothing very fancy. Let's be off, Heather dear. The weather appears chancy.
Heather gestures to her mother. Veronica bends over and Heather whispers something in her ear.
Of course, my pet. Heather would love to invite Henry over to play tomorrow afternoon before our dinner engagement. It would give them more time to get acquainted.
May I, Mother? Please?
It's all right with me if it's all right with your father.
Splendid. In fact, I'll drop him off on my way to town. I have some business to attend to.
Marion shoots Malcolm a wicked glance. She seems to be writing. She sees the writing on the wall. While the cat's away, the mice will play.
I'll bet you do. Ta for now, everybody.
Heather?
Bye, Henry. See you tomorrow.
Marion looks up at the sky. The sun is sinking like her spirits.
Henry, don't you have some lessons with Nanette today?
I almost forgot.
Well, I think you best go find her, and don't forget to wash up before supper.
Henry exits. Malcolm and Marion are now alone. She places her hands over her eyes and takes a deep breath. Suddenly, she looks at Malcolm, who is looking back sheepishly. He begins to take his leave when she grabs his arm.
You're not going anywhere. We must talk. Now. How can you do it right in front of my face? In front of the children? You are such a disgrace. Have you lost your scruples? You could give lessons in finesse. But you're really such a blunderer, making such a bloody mess. Tell me one thing. Am I a puppet dangling from your string? Tell me. Is it over? Is it over between you and me? Am I trapped in a fantasy world you once built for two? Is there any chance for us to start anew? What am I to do if it is over?
How can you say it? I've done nothing out of line. What did you imagine? Sweetheart, everything is fine. An innocent flirtation. It's really nothing more. You're such a worrywart. It's still you that I adore. I'll tell you one thing. I haven't any interest in a fling. Tell me, is it over? Is it over between you and I? Are you looking for an alibi? To run as far as you can? Is there any chance for me to remain your man? I would surely die if it's over.
How can I believe you?
I will never leave you. Our marriage must be based on trust.
This marriage has been based on lust for other women.
Please tell me I'm forgiven.
I can't live through one more affair.
I need one more chance to show you I care. Just tell me it's not over. Is it over?
It's not over between you and me. I'll depend on your honesty.
Let's rebuild our world for two. There's still a chance for us.
I suppose it's true. It's not over.
It's not over.
It's not over.
They reconcile with a kiss. Lights up on the back porch. Henry is running out back, searching for Nanette. He sees her sitting on the back porch with Arnaud. They are deeply involved in discussions about motives, suspects, and their personal relationship. Henry sneaks behind the wall to spy on them.
Have you found anything out about that cowboy fella?
I've checked his references with the yard, and there seems to be nothing out of the ordinary. I also ran a check on everyone working in this house, and thus far I really can't point a finger at anyone.
I put my money on the cowboy. He's such a loner. He's got to be up to something.
Sometimes the most obvious suspect is the least dangerous of all.
But he still gives me the creeps.
Just like this?
Stepping not here. Someone may be watching.
Arnaud grabs Nanette and kisses her deeply. She pushes him away. He loses his balance and falls over a porch swing. Nanette laughs.
I am going now.
Henry appears and Arnaud retreats. Nanette straightens herself up and regains her composure.
Nanette, Mummy sent here to find you.
Oh, yes. Henry has a reading lesson every night before supper. I suppose it's time.
May we read out here?
Arnaud picks up the child's message and prepares to take leave.
I suppose it's time for me to get back to work anyway. Henry, which way to the stable?
Going to snoop around there, too.
Leave no stones unturned, lad.
Just follow the path to the right, and you'll walk right into it.
Arnaud pats Henry on the head and winks at Nanette. He whistles a tune, It's Murder, as he departs. Nanette sits down on the porch swing and pats next to herself for Henry to join her.
Have you your book, Henry?
Henry leaps onto the swing, shows her the book.
Right here. Shall I begin?
Nanette nods and smiles. Henry begins reading. Arnaud is walking towards Cowboy, who is busy feeding the animals. Cowboy glances up to see Arnaud. He shakes his head. His facial expression reveals his exasperation, his current circumstances. How can he assist this inept inspector without blowing his own cover? Arnaud approaches Cowboy and smiles awkwardly. Cowboy gives him a half smile back.
I'd like to ask you some questions. Need to know what you've seen. Anything out of the ordinary? You know what I mean. Danvers is 6 feet under, way before his time. And if you know anything, you could help me solve this crime.
I'd really like to help you, sir, but discretion is the thing. I know danger's lurking here, and it can't wait to spring. If I were a detective, I'd leave no stone unturned. You've got to look and listen. There are lessons to be learned. You've got to dig down deep, shovel away the dirt. Then you've got to dig some more, and you've got to stay alert. Use your intuition. Things aren't what they seem. Time is slipping fast away, and this isn't any dream. He may be a two-faced joker who's good at playing games.
If you've got a valid suspect, you've got to give me names.
Look, I'm not sure of anything. I could be off the mark.
I think you're holding something back. Protect us from the dark.
You've got to dig down deep, and if you bottom out, you've got to dig some more. There can be no doubt. Never turn your back. Things aren't what they seem. Check all suspects, big and small. Try to figure out the scheme.
It seems that you're in touch with the workings of the mind. Something doesn't quite add up. You're really too refined. You're hired as a stable hand to do all the dirty work. I'll bet you're hiding something, and it's driving me berserk.
Don't push me any further. My request is very small. I must remain anonymous, but it's your judgment call. If you protect my secret nature, I'll assist you all I can. We can fight the foe together, but we must devise a plan. We've got to dig down deep
before we
make our move. Then we've got to dig some more. We need evidence to prove that may be supernatural.
Things aren't what they seem. We've got to stop this nightmare. Because this isn't any dream.
I can be your silent partner.
Yes, I'd like you on my team.
We've
got to end this nightmare, because this isn't any dream.
They shake hands. Suddenly, Arnaud becomes aware of the lateness of the hour.
Listen, I'm glad we've come to an agreement, but I must be off, or my wife will kill me. No good.
Now I feel we must get on with this. Please come back tomorrow.
Oh, what is that? Saturday? Yes, I'll do my best. I got a previous engagement.
Cowboy grabs Arnaud by the collar. He's very intense.
Listen, man, I didn't show my hands for nothing. This is more urgent than you may think. I know who the killer is.
Then tell me now.
I can't. It's much too complicated. I must explain it all in detail. It will not be an open and shut case. You must trust me on this.
All right, monsieur. I promise I'll return in the morning. It still gives me plenty of It still gives me plenty of time to get back to London before nightfall. Now, please let me go.
Still holding Arno by the collar.
And listen to me carefully. Do not, I repeat, do not tell anyone, not even Annette, about our meeting. Her life can depend on this, okay? Okay?
Oui, yes. Anything you say. You are the boss.
Cowboy finally releases a very flustered Arno, who tips his hat, politely waves, and exits. Lights up on the back porch. Arno passes Nanette and Henry, who are still reading.
Inspector Arnaud, it's been so long. Did you find any clues?
Just your page.
69.
69.
68.
Oh, we're at 68.
Sorry. 68. Okay, not really.
Oh, yeah.
I just had a very entertaining conversation with Cowboy. He's quite a character, isn't he?
Really, Inspector? I find him rather ghoulish, as I've said.
To be perfectly honest, he says he's got the missing piece to this puzzle.
You don't say. Well, what is it?
I don't know yet.
You don't know? How can you leave here without all the information?
Shh, not so loud. He says it's way too complicated. But he promised to give me an earful tomorrow.
Henry has not uttered one word, but his expression very clearly tells all, as Hyde eyes are burning right through. Henry is doing everything possible to stay in control. He is ripping the pages of his book into tiny little pieces, falling one by one. Nanette notices what Henry's doing and places her arms around him lovingly.
Enough of this talk. Can't you see you're upsetting the boy?
Oh my. I am terribly sorry, Henry. I don't suppose all this talk about murder and such is fit for such small ears.
Arno pats Henry on the head.
Well, I must be off, but I'll be back bright and early in the morning.
Why don't I see you to the front door?
Splendid idea. Lead the way.
That's enough reading for now, anyway, Henry. Henry, why don't you go and freshen up before dinner? And don't forget to clean under those fingernails, all right then?
Henry steps down out the swing, bows like a little gentleman, and exits without a word. Arno leans forward to kiss Nanette before leaving the back porch.
Now, where did I leave off before we were so rudely interrupted?
Oh, you're a naughty one, aren't you, Mr. Inspector? Just don't muss me up too much.
She kisses him back, Arno exits, and Nanette is left alone.
I'm going to find out who the killer is myself. I have my very own special investigative techniques, and they're tried and true.
Lights up in the barn. Cowboy is grooming the animals. Nanette steps through the barn door.
Hello, Cowboy. How are you today?
Howdy, ma'am. How'd your fella get away?
None of your business, Mr. Know-It-all.
Go back up to the house before you take a fall. Do yourself a favor, stay out of this.
Oh, what do you know anyway?
I'm just trying to protect you, miss.
I don't need your protection. I can take care of myself, Cowboy.
Can you really? Then why do you let yourself be handled like a toy?
A toy?
A toy? Arnaud's toying with your heart. He'll break your world apart.
Do you have any more advice to impart?
You need a better man. Someone who will be straight with you.
You know someone who can?
You're looking at the man.
You?
Cowboy reaches for Nanette. They struggle. She tries to maintain the upper hand, but the tables are turning.
Take your hands off me!
Cowboy removes his hands.
I've been watching you all along. The easy way you smile. I listen for the song in your laughter.
Cowboy, what are you really after?
I need to be near you so much. I love the way you breathe life into everyone and everything you touch.
My touch? I've been watching you all along. So afraid to take a chance. The silent type has always spelled disaster.
I should have revealed my heart much faster.
I wish you would have told me before. Now I love somebody else.
But you don't have to lock the door.
I'm not sure.
I thought I had some time before our no return to you. But another heinous crime brought him back, to declare his love anew. Now I don't know what to do.
I haven't got a clue, but I've been watching you all along.
How can this kind of love be wrong?
Maybe you're right. My heart is beating oh so strong.
I've been watching.
Yes, I've been watching.
I've been watching you all along. Is it too late, Nanette?
Maybe. Not too late.
Cowboy pulls her close and they kiss passionately.
Maybe not too late at all.
They kiss again. Cowboy pulls Nanette down onto a pile of hay, implying that they will make love. Lights fade slowly, music up. If only you were mine. Lights up in the water closet. Henry is washing his hands in a wooden basin. Hyde is on the brink of coming out.
Now, Henry, you mustn't be sad or scared. I'll take care of everything. Cowboy will never get a chance to talk to Stephen Arnaud, so our little secret will remain safely tucked away forever. I just need to take some action, devise a tidy little plan. Nothing very obvious to obliterate our man. No, and then you won't have to worry. Never give it one more thought, because everything he knows will wind up being naught. Once our cowboy rides off to heaven or wherever he may go, he won't be much of use to anyone, particularly Arnaud. It'll be his last roundup. No more riding on the range. His horse won't have an equestrian, but it won't appear too strange. It'll be his last roundup, his final rodeo. He'll ride the wind one more time. It sets my heart aglow. I promise I'll be gentle. He won't feel a thing. I'll get him while he's sleeping. And I hope the angels sing. Then, when Arnaud returns to find his missing puzzle piece, all he'll find is ashes and the local Brit police.
Music climbs as Hyde mutters to himself about his plan.
Let's see, I need something flammable. And of course, I need something to light the fire. I need those flames burn higher and higher and higher. It'll be his last roundup, his final resting place. One more unsolvable disaster, and Arnaud will have no case. It'll be his last roundup, his final rodeo. Too bad he won't have any time to say au revoir to Arnaud. Up in smoke! Up in smoke! Our cowpoke will choke to death. What a pointless accident. Smoking old stogie. But we gave them up for Lent. Guess it's too late to repent. It'll be his last roundup. Too bad he has to die. It'll be his last roundup, that rodeo in the sky. Goodbye, cowboy. Goodbye.
Henry comes back totally disoriented. When Hyde takes over so completely, Henry has some sort of amnesia. Henry returns to washing his hands. He suddenly hears his mother calling him for dinner.
Henry! Oh, Henry, come down for supper, dear.
Yes, Mother. I'll be right there.
Henry dries his hands, throws a towel, and races through the door. He runs down the hallway and disappears down the stairs. Lights up in the dining room. It is after supper, and Hildegard is clearing the dining room table.
Hildegard, please tell Muffin she's outdone herself. I've missed her cooking. All that hotel food just doesn't hold up.
I'll be sure to tell her, sir. She'll be so pleased. Coffee? Tea, sir?
Tea would be fun.
And you, madam?
Tea would be lovely. And some milk for Henry. It's so good for little boys.
Fine. I'll be but a minute.
Hildegard exits. Lights up on the kitchen. Cowboy, Jasper, and Nanette are eating their supper as well. Ms. Muffin and Hildegard's places are set, but they will eat last after everyone else has been fed.
Both the Jekylls would like tea. Oh, and Mr. Malcolm is raving about your culinary artistry.
If only he would buy me the worth of me works of art.
Now, Muffin. What would we do without you? We'd all starve to death.
Jasper never used that word in this house.
Sorry, my love.
Speaking of Dad,
All turn towards Nanette, and it's painfully quiet.
I was speaking with Inspector Arnaud, and he says that somebody knows who the killer actually is.
Really?
Who? He didn't say.
Didn't say?
Well, no. He had to get back into town tonight, but he'll be back tomorrow morning.
Cowboy is gazing down at his plate. He appears distressed and expels a breath. Arnaud has been a fool to give away such pointed information. Cowboy picks himself up and races out the back door of the kitchen.
Well, that's one person who doesn't fancy me cooking.
No. Cowboy is the one who knows who the killer is.
Cowboy?
You don't say.
Go on.
Yes, Arnaud told me himself, and he believes that Cowboy is telling the truth.
But why didn't he spill the beans when he had the chance?
Cowboy told Arnaud that it was far too complicated, that he explained it all in the morning.
The room becomes dead silent. Each of the observers observes the other in a nervous manner. Nobody really knows if the other is a guilty party, so no one really knows if they can trust the other one.
Well, I'm awfully sleepy. Need to get some rest. I'll go collect the dishes. Yes, I think it's best.
Yes, now that you mention it, it's getting rather late. These old bones are giving out. I'll go lock the Jekyll's gate.
I bid you all good night. Have a peaceful sleep. With no bad dreams to wake you, let slumber overtake you. I bid you all good night.
It's time to close the kitchen, wash the dishes, go to bed. See you all when the rooster calls. Hope none of us is dead. I bid you all good night. Have a peaceful sleep with no bad dreams to wake you. Let slumber overtake you. I bid you all good night. Good night.
No one utters another word. They just do what needs to be done, then scurry off to their respective rooms. Lights up Cowboy's quarters in the stables. Cowboy paces furiously.
That idiot! That buffoon! Why did I trust him? And how could I ever have trusted her?
Suddenly, Henry appears in the door. Cowboy freezes. Henry is crying and then transforms into Hyde.
There's a question. Hello, Cowboy. I thought it was time for us to get thoroughly acquainted.
What do you want?
Oh, come now. Did you think you could tell someone a dirty little secret and get away with it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, don't you?
Listen, Henry. It's way past your bedtime.
Don't you play dumb with me, Cowboy. You know I'm not Henry. The name is Hyde. Edward Hyde. Don't you forget.
Suddenly, Hyde picks up the horse bit and with superhuman strength and accuracy swings the metal part of the bit at Cowboy's head. Cowboy is struck at his temple. He falls over. A stream of blood trickles down. Cowboy attempts to get up. Hyde swings again, then again. Cowboy passes out. Hyde runs out and returns with a can of kerosene. He pours it over Cowboy's unconscious body. Then he runs around the stable, pouring fluid over the hay. He releases all of the horses one by one. When the stable is empty except for Cowboy, Hyde lights a match and flings it onto Cowboy's shirt. Cowboy explodes into flames. Hyde waves goodbye.
Ever so nice meeting you, Cowboy. Have a nice trip. Hope you make it to heaven.
He laughs. Hyde runs out of the stable into the night. The entire stable is ablaze. Lights up onto the Jekyll's bedroom.
Malcolm, get up. I smell smoke.
Don't bother me, darling.
Get up before we choke.
She practically pushes him out of the bed as she herself springs up and dashes to the window.
Oh, my God. Look.
Malcolm races over to the window, rubbing his eyes.
It can't be. I must wake the staff before everyone gets cooked.
Malcolm grabs a bell from the wall. He clangs it loudly throughout the upstairs of the house. He bolts down the stairs and stands in the vestibule, which is the heart of the house. Suddenly, he is surrounded by everyone in their night clothes.
Try not to panic. Try to stay calm. I need everybody's help. No need for alarm. Nanette, run to the firehouse. Get things straight away. The stable's burning to a crisp.
Yes, sir, I'm on my way.
Jasper, Hildy, Muffin, collect every pail and basin in the house. Fill them up with water.
What shall I do?
Just be quiet as a mouse.
Why are you such a louse?
Fire!
The Jekyll's up in smoke.
Fire!
Have you seen that lone cowpoke?
The flames keep burning higher, licking everything in sight. Fire! We're burning up tonight.
Lights up on the stable. Malcolm and the staff are throwing water at the flames, which are already so completely out of control. It's obvious that to everyone that nothing will stop the nightmarish dance of red and gold. Malcolm gives up and sits down on the cold ground.
It's much too late. There isn't any doubt. We'll just wait for the fire truck. I hope they can put this fire out.
A horse-drawn fire truck appears with firefighters dressed in uniforms of the era. They jump off the truck and tend to extinguishing the fire. Nanette has come back with them. Lights up on Henry's bedroom window. Henry is peering out at the commotion. The reflection of the fire casts a hideous red glow on his face. Henry cries.
My last chance, up in smoke. No one can catch him now. Hyde is winning. I wish I knew.
Tisk, tisk, Henry. It's a crying shame. Your last hope is going up in flame.
Fire!
Fire! Fire! The jungles are up in smoke. Fire! 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 Have you seen that lone cowpoke?
Keep burning oil. Making everything inside. Fire, fire, fire.
We're burning up tonight.
Lights on the stable. Fire chief is talking to Malcolm.
Just somebody pick up.
Any chance of foul play, sir?
Foul play? Of course not.
It must have been an accident.
What sort of evidence have you got?
By the by, has anyone seen Cowboy?
Why no?
Not I.
Nor me.
He's always been so coy.
It must have been foul play.
Yes, he knew the truth about the fella.
What are you saying?
Ah, yes. This has the makings of a thriller.
No, the inspector told me Cowboy knew the truth.
Poppycock. Is there any proof? He was just a stable hand.
He had some pertinent information.
I fail to understand.
This is all such nonsense. Just a tall tale.
The inspector doesn't lie. Somehow the truth will prevail.
Groom runs over to the jackals.
Mr. Jekyll, Mr. Jekyll! I found Cowboy's ring in the rubble. He's never ever took it off. Not for anything.
Are you sure?
Yes, it was his most prized possession. He told me it belonged to his father.
I see. May I have it? Would anyone mind?
Can't see why you'd want it, but it's yours.
Thank you, sir.
Nanette takes the ring and places it in her apron pocket.
I suppose the truth will never see the light of day. The only thing left of Cowboy is a pile of ashes.
What a price to pay.
There's nothing more we can do, dear. Let's go back to bed.
Marion sidles up to Malcolm and puts her arm through his.
I suppose you're right. All the leads are dead. Let's leave the fire to the fighters. May as well be off to bed, everyone. We'll sort the whole thing out tomorrow. Things will look much better in the morning sun.
To fire chief and firefighters.
Let yourselves out when you're done.
Malcolm, Marion step, exit, lights out. Lights up on the stable. It's the next morning. The stable is totally burnt to the ground. The horses are grazing with the cows. Next to the big black nest, the rest of the Jekyll household appears to be peaceful. Birds are chirping, the sun is shining, but a dark cloud of smoke still hangs overhead. Lights up on the front of the Jekyll house. From a distance, a small figure appears. It's Arnaud. He has a bounteous step as he springs towards the front of the house. On the front porch, Arnaud pounds on the ornate Jekyll knocker. Hildegard, who looks disheveled, enters the door to show him in. Lights up on the dining room. The Jekylls, Nanette, Ms. Muffin, and Jasper are in the midst of a heated discussion with the local police constable. He is taking notes as each one reacts to his questions. Hildegard returns to her seat and motions to Arnaud to one that is vacant.
What on earth is going on here?
Who are you, sir?
Inspector Avenue, Scotland Yard.
Where do you fit in, sir?
I'm conducting an investigation, possible murder here. A Mr. Danvers was found at the bottom of the stairs in the vestibule, right over there.
I see, and don't you think it was an accident?
This was not the first. You see, there were some others. I fear this house is cursed.
I see, it's all rather curious. It may appear foul plays afoot, and the sudden loss of your stable hand can't be covered up with soot.
Loss of the stable hand. What are you saying? What's going on?
Last night, there was a fire here, and Cowboy's gone.
A fire! I can't believe it. My only witness, a pile of dust.
What you say, witness?
The only one who I could trust, Cowboy, informed me privately that he knew the killer's name.
My God, I guess that secret has been swallowed by the fire. The situation's very grave.
We were supposed to meet again this morning. That was our plan. He would have revealed the truth to me, unmasked the mystery man.
Arnaud bows his head and covers his face.
How did this happen? How did anyone find out about the tete-a-tete?
I'm so sorry, Stefan. I'm the one who told everyone about it.
Why, you stupid little tart!
Oh, how could you?
Nanette runs off crying. Arnaud follows her. Everyone from the previous scene except Arnaud and Nanette have remained in the dining room.
Suppose I have all the information I need at the present time, but no one should leave town till I return to investigate this crime.
Does that mean we can't leave this house?
No, dear, just don't tub off too far.
After all, it's my one night off.
I need a puff and a cigar.
This murder stuff is too bizarre.
I don't see myself out.
He exits. Malcolm, we still have that dinner engagement at the Tarnells tonight.
Do you think we should go?
It would disappoint Henry so.
Yes, I guess it should be all right.
We don't have to stay too long.
It's a relief to see him get along.
What a relief. I bought this frock. It's really too chic. I wouldn't want to waste it. I couldn't wait another week.
Ms. Muffin, Jasper, and Hildegard begin their exit as they obviously are no longer needed for this part of the discussion.
It's time to tend to the house.
I'll prepare your lunch, and after 4 I'll be free.
That's right, dear. You can leave right after tea.
I'll go finish my chores too. Ladies, Sir Malcolm, then you won't be needing me.
They exit, leaving only Marion and Malcolm.
What an awful mess.
I detest working under stress. I hope the police clear this up quickly.
The police can be such pests. I'll go find Henry. Nanette's rather occupied.
Yes, dear. Later, dear.
We dine at 7, dear.
I wish that poor girl had some time.
I hope she takes him for a ride.
All right, dear. Well, I'm off to town. I'll tell Veronica, Mrs. Tarneau, that Henry won't be there earlier under these upsetting circumstances.
Yes, I believe that's best. We'll go over there together.
Marion exit. Malcolm picks up his attaché case and exits. Lights up on Nanette and Arnaud in the backyard. Nanette is waving her arms around. She is furious with Arnaud, who is trying to calm her down.
Please, Nanette, I am so sorry. I did not mean...
You called me a stupid little tart.
I was furious with you. You are probably the cause of Cowboy's demise.
Nanette withdraws her anger and begins to cry. Arnaud walks over to comfort her. He caresses her and she collapses into his arms.
You're right, Stefan. It was my fault, I'm sure. It was thoughtless of me to trust the others. This is more than I can endure. Will you forgive me?
Can you forgive me too?
We must back each other up.
We need to unearth another clue.
There is still such danger in this house.
The killer's still on the loose, and nobody has one shred of evidence to help us fill the hangman's noose.
I wonder who the culprit is. It could be anyone at all. Cowboy could have saved us.
I must get to the ball.
What are you saying?
Don't leave me alone.
Please take me away from here.
I will, but for now, you're on your own.
What can be so important?
I can't explain right now. I must return to London at once.
How can you do this to me? How?
Sarah is expecting me, a social engagement I cannot miss. Oh, let's not fight again.
How about a little kiss?
Stefan, it's always something. You treat our love as something light. When will you ever tell her?
When the time is right.
But when will you tell her?
Tonight, my love, tonight.
Do you mean it?
Cross my heart. It's been long enough.
Oh, Stefan.
They kiss passionately, then Arnaud pulls back and looks into her eyes with intensity.
Listen. You must be extremely careful until I return. I'll come back tomorrow and I promise everything will be settled.
Yes, I'll watch my back. Besides, everyone will be out this evening.
Good. That's very good. Goodbye for now, ma chérie.
Au revoir.
Arnaud leaves Nanette standing alone in the yard. Lights up on Marion, Malcolm, and Henry in the main vestibule. It's early Saturday evening. They're all dressed up to go to the Tarnos. Marion is fastening a tie onto Henry's small, delicate neck. Malcolm is trying to tie his own tie.
Well, it's that time, Marion. When did the staff depart?
It was about 4:30. Nanette was the only one to stay behind. She could be nursing a broken heart.
Poor, foolish girl, Marion. To fall for a married man.
You ought to know about those things, especially when it comes to Nanette.
Marion, the boy's right here. This is not meant for his small ears.
So sorry, dear. I think we're all ready. You have that bottle of wine?
Right here, Chateau du Pape. In fact, it was a very good year.
Music continues as Marion, Malcolm, and Henry leave their own house to cross the yard to the Tarnos' home. Henry skips ahead. Lights up on the Tarno entryway. Veronica is there to greet them.
Oh, what a splendiferous evening. I'm so glad you could come. Now, why don't you children run off and play while you still have some evening sun?
Don't get dirty, Henry.
I'm so sorry about my horse. He's held up in town once more, and he could be back in time for dessert.
What a pity. Too bad we can't be four.
I'm beginning to wonder, is Horace real like us? Could be a figment of your imagination.
Oh, Malcolm, that's preposterous.
Marion walks over to Malcolm and claims his arm. Veronica glides around to the other side and links his arm to his. She leads them all over to a sofa.
Let's have some cocktails. Why don't we?
What a delicious idea.
We're in the Tarno dining area. Instrumental music takes Veronica, Marion, Malcolm, Heather, and Henry from cocktail area to dining table. In a quick motion, all get their napkins on, grab food, and get served, etc. Once they're settled and eating and laughing, the song begins.
Oh, what a delicious dish. I'd love to have the recipe.
I'll have to ask the cook. I'm sure he'll give it to me.
Must have a secret ingredient, one that adds all that.
I'll bet he'll leave it off the list.
Unless you're in his favor.
I've got a grand idea. We should all plan a little getaway. When can you and Horace plan a weekend holiday?
Oh, Malcolm, we just returned from one, and under such an awful circumstance.
Dear, it would be good for us to rekindle our romance.
Malcolm kisses Marion's neck. She pushes him away.
No, Malcolm! Let's not show off.
Oh, I don't mind. Why, sometimes Horace just...
Oh dear, where's the loo?
Oh, down the hall, shall I help?
No, we'll find it. Come on, Henry, let's not spit up all over Miss Veronica's lovely Persian rug.
Marion forces Henry down the hall into a small room. Malcolm is busy captivating Veronica. Heather is rather forlorn.
Don't worry, Heather. Henry will be fine. Probably just an upset tummy.
Oh, Mommy, why don't do these things have to happen?
Marion and a green-looking Henry return.
Listen, I'm going to bring Henry home. Nanette is there and she'll watch over him. I shouldn't be gone but a few minutes. Say good night and thank you to Heather and her mother, Henry.
Good night and thank you.
They exit together. Lights up on Henry's bedroom. Marion is pulling off Henry's shoes and socks and tugging a nightgown over his head. Nanette enters.
What have we here?
I don't know. Something seems to have troubled poor Henry's stomach.
Nanette leans forward to feel Henry's head.
Oh, poor dear's burning up too. But look, Mrs. Jekyll, you run along back to your party. I'll look after Henry. All right?
Henry nods. Marion is already dashing out the door as she doesn't want Malcolm left on his own device with Veronica.
Thanks so much, Nanette. Feel better, Henry.
Lights up on a huge ornate ballroom in London. A waltz-filled room fills the room as Arnaud dances with his wife, Sarah. She wears a troubled look on her face.
Stefan, something's been on your mind all night, and I know it has nothing to do with the politics of the function.
You are quite right, Sarah. We must talk.
This seems rather grave. Shall we sit down for this?
Yes, I do believe it would be best.
They exit the ballroom, lights up on a gazebo on the lawn.
This is all rather difficult. I actually don't know where to start.
Then don't bother, my dear. I know someone else has stolen your heart.
Yes. How did you know?
It was as plain as the nose on your face. I learned the act of investigation from you.
I suppose I have fallen from grace.
So, who is the tact this time around? No, please don't tell me her name.
Her name is Nanette. She's no tart.
Stop it! You're so damned inane. I don't know what to say, Stefan. The truth is hard to swallow.
Nanette, my God, she's in trouble.
Stefan, how can you be so hard?
Listen, I must go back right away. There's not a second to waste.
You can't be serious, Stefan.
Stefan. I am, and I'm leaving you now, post-haste.
You've just confessed to an affair, and you are going to leave me flat?
But Sarah, I've already left you.
How can you do it?
Just like that. So we'll sort this all out later. I bid you farewell, my dear.
If you leave me now, don't come back. Am I making myself perfectly clear?
I'm sorry you feel so abandoned. I never meant you any harm.
Oh, go peddle your prose elsewhere. You finally lost all of your charm.
Are no charges out of the garden? Sarah is left all alone. All lights fade around her except a small spotlight surrounds her slight figure and face.
What is a man? Who really knows? One day he loves you, the next day he goes. No more roses, no kisses at dawn, just a peck on the cheek and maybe a yawn. I curse the day I met you. I curse the love you stole from me. There's nothing left to count on. Most of all, I curse my memory. I remember all the things we shared, the years we toiled together. What a foolish lass I was to think our love could be forever. I spit on your hat forever.
Yay. Lights up on Henry's bedroom. Nanette is nursing Henry back to health.
Are you feeling any better?
Oh yes, much. But I really do need something to drink.
I'll get it for you, dear. Be back soon.
Nanette exits. Henry tiptoes close behind her. Lights up on in the kitchen. Nanette begins to pour Henry some milk when she hears something awful. She turns around. It's Hyde.
Who are you?
Oh, sweet Nanette. You haven't met me yet, but I was always by your side. Dear Nanette, my name is Hyde. I've been watching you for so long. Loving you made Henry strong, but then you left him for Arnaud. I was glad to see you go. It's too late. What's done is done. Now, Nanette, I'll have my fun. It's time for you to go. Time to say goodbye. Heaven waits for you, I'm sure. The only one so sweet and pure. It's time for you to go. Kiss the world goodbye. Say your prayers. Nobody cares. It's time for you to die.
Somehow I've always known that I'd wind up all alone. I guess I should have seen a sign. I'd love someone who isn't mine. The punishment seems to fit the crime. I can't avoid the truth this time. Before you lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. I am a sinner. I must pay. The time has come. It's judgment day. It's time for me to go. Time for me to say goodbye. Please forgive my mortal sin. Let the heavens take me in. It's time for me to go. Kiss the earth goodbye. I'm all alone. Please take me home. It's time for me to die.
It's all so touching, so divine. Oh, if only you were mine. Even in the very end, you pray to God for it did end.
Hyde, I'm going to pray for you. That's the best I can do. Someday you'll be absolved. How did poor Henry get involved?
He's over his head. He's lost his soul. Henry's under my control. Yours is not to question why. Now it's time for you to die.
Hyde lifts up a huge, sharp carving knife. His eyes are bulging, burning with hatred. He gnashes his teeth and appears totally otherworldly. Satan has finally shed his human skin. There's nothing left of Henry or Hyde. Hyde raises his arms to plunge the knife into Nanette's heart. At that very moment, she reveals a beautiful crucifix she holds over her heart. The crucifix begins to glow with a stunning golden light. Hyde has never noticed Nanette's crucifix before, as it was always hidden in the past.
Blessed be Father, for I have sinned. Blessed be Father, for I have sinned. Take me now if you must, ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Hyde struggles to push the knife towards Nanette again, but he is frozen. The crucifix has rendered him powerless.
I can't do it! Damn it to hell! Damn you!
Nanette is spellbound as she realizes that the incredible source of power that she embraces in her hands has prevented Hyde from being able to kill her. She holds the crucifix up to him defiantly. She is aware now that Hyde has nothing to do with God. He is a devil incarnate. Suddenly, Hyde drops the knife and stumbles backwards. Henry reappears miraculously. He is unconscious. Nanette crawls over to him. He resembles a small, innocent child that she recognizes. Arnaud and the constable enter and discover Nanette, Henry, and the knife all on the kitchen floor. They don't know what to make of the scene. Nanette cradles Henry in her arms.
If only you were really mine, the light we share could be so fine. I would shower you with affection, have that mother-son connection. It would be a sweet confection, if only you were mine.
Nanette, what has happened here? Do you have any explanation?
Nanette just stares at Arnaud and continues to rock Henry while humming and singing and crying. Hyde, in Henry's form, regains consciousness just one more time for Marion and Malcolm to return. Hildegard, Miss Muffin, and Jasper are right on their heels.
What in heaven's name is going on here? Oh no, Nanette! What?
Henry opens his eyes. He points to the knife.
Nanette tried to kill me.
Henry passes out. Marion rushes forward and rips Henry out of Nanette's arms.
Give me the child, you murderess!
No, you don't understand. The devil was here tonight. It was him. He was right in this room. Tonight he tried to kill me. I do believe she's gone around the bend.
I always knew she was daft.
Oh, heavens, no. Do you think she did all that killing?
Anything's possible these days.
We cannot just jump to conclusions.
But we practically caught her red-handed.
But she was cradling the boy, not stabbing him.
Well, perhaps she lost her nerve. Anyway, I'm going to take her in. She'll probably wind up in some loony bin if you ask me. Come on, dear, please come quietly. There's been enough of a ruckus here for one night.
Nanette struggles to her feet and extends her arms. She looks like the Walking Dead, and she's totally resigned.
At least I'll be safe from jail.
Snug as a bug. Let's collect some of your belongings. It may be a long time before we meet.
Not here, she won't.
Constable exits with Nanette. Arnaud follows right behind her.
Don't worry, ma chérie. I'll help you. I know that you are innocent. There's a missing piece to this puzzle, and you have it.
Nanette just smiles, a half smile at Arnaud. She knows no one will ever believe the truth, not even Arnaud. Lights up on the kitchen. Everyone from previous scene except Arnaud, Nanette, and the constable has remained.
We each have a cross to bear, a burden we must carry. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a cross to bear.
We each have a cross to bear. It lasts a whole lifetime. I think it's such a crime we have a cross to bear.
I have come to this conclusion through many chaos and confusion. Nothing's really as it seems. I'm lost in someone else's dreams. And all I hear are screams inside my head, filling me with doubt and dread. It's time for me to go to bed.
We each have a cross to bear. There's no way to avoid it.
I rather much enjoy it. We have a cross to bear.
I've had quite enough of this house. Mr. and Mrs. Jekyll, I resign. I'll be leaving in the morning. Promptly.